for part 2 of our circle graph activity, what we're going to be doing is using the data from the question that you gave me to create your own graphs within a spreadsheet program. So I'm going to use Google Drive Sheets. You can do this with Excel as well, but I'm going to use this just because we're using Google Classroom. So I emailed you the results of your question. You'll have to go into your Prairie Valley email and get those results. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a chart within Excel. So you will see that I have my favorite pet, and the options are bird, cat, dog, fish, and other, and the number of people that voted for each one of those things. So 4, 16, 23, 10, and 7. So what I'm going to do in order to get a graph is I'm actually going to highlight the information, and across the top there is this button here that says Insert Chart. It is also in Insert Chart, so you can do it either way, and it's actually going to pop up automatically. So when we're drawing our own graphs in real life, oftentimes we use computer software to help us with the actual calculations. So what I would like you to do is to include your graph, but there's a few things that I need to focus on here. So number of people is not exactly a good title for this graph. So I'm going to have to change this using my chart editor. So I'm going to play a little bit. So I double clicked here to get it, or you can go into Customize for your graph. And so my title text should probably be people's favorite pet. So you can see that that changed. The other thing you might play with is you might change the font to make it more bolded. You can do a couple of other things here too. So here we don't necessarily have a legend because it's actually listed right on our graph, and it's automatically calculated those percents. So you can choose to include a legend. So maybe I would like it on the right-hand side. And so now you can see that my percents are gone, but I now have a legend. And I can play with a lot of different things in here. So what I would like you to do is to play a little bit with some of the information. So I can go as deep as, if I don't like this color scheme, I can say, well, you know what? I really don't like that red, or maybe my favorite color is purple and my favorite animal is a dog. So I might say, you know what? They're going to get this pretty purple instead. And maybe I don't like cats, and so they might get a not as pretty color. So I can customize my graph in a lot of ways. I can also change the type of graph. So if I go to Setup, I can actually change this to a whole bunch of different types of graphs. And so I'd like you to play with this a little bit. There's different types of pie graphs that we can use. So this is a donut chart, which makes sense because it looks like a donut. And this one is a 3D pie chart. So it has that 3-dimensional shape to it. As you're going through, play with this a little bit and then submit the spreadsheet. So I have given you a spreadsheet in the actual assignment for this piece. So please put your graph on that. You may want to do this version and then say, hey, you know what? I would love to do a second graph. And maybe in my second graph, I would like it to look like a bar graph. And so I can play with a couple of different versions, but really I'd like you to play just with making different types of graphs and putting them into a document here. And then once you have one or two and you've played a little bit with some of the features, I would like you to submit the graph as turned in and write a private comment telling me why you chose some of the items that you did. So certain colors, or maybe you chose to do it as a donut instead of a pie chart. Maybe your favorite was a bar graph because you thought that that was the best representation. So give me a little bit of an explanation of some of the things you played with and the things that you really liked and you felt made the data easier to understand.